Good evening, everyone. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Can we have roll call, please?
Supervisor McGlasson?
Here.
Councilwoman Campbell? Present. Councilman Toupori?
Here.
Councilman Ruthven?
Here.
Councilman Boyd?
Here.
All present.
Thank you.
Welcome.
I make a motion to open the public hearing for the Verizon franchise agreement.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Nancy, do you want to give an update since you've spoken with
Sure.
them?
So I went back to the people at Verizon that we were dealing with two things specifically. One is to take a look at the hub that one of our residents told us isn't functioning properly, and the other was to ask if they would agree to give the town hall Wi-Fi at no cost. The Wi-Fi, they struck down immediately and said that it's not part of their cable operation, so they can't offer it. And they told me they went to the highest level of engineering regarding the hub. And they checked it twice, and there is nothing wrong with it. It's operating perfectly.
Well, remember that because when it goes again.
Okay.
That was their technician that said it to me.
All right, well, we have a contact now that we can go to.
It sounds like I said, we go to the high.
Any board comments?
Nope.
No? Everyone's
Not much you can
okay?
do with it.
Any other comments? Okay. Someone want to read the resolution?
Yep.
Oh, I make a motion to close the public hearing for the
Second.
franchise agreement. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I make a motion to pass a resolution authorizing the supervisor to sign the Verizon franchise renewal. Whereas the town of Kent, the town is a franchising authority in accordance with Title VI of the Communications Act, I'm going to skip that, and is authorized to grant one or more non-exclusive cable franchise pursuant to Article 11 of the New York State Public Service Law as amended, and Title 16, Chapter, was that 8, Parts 890.60 through 899 of the official compilation of codes, rules, and regulations of the state of New York as amended, collectively known as the cable laws, and whereas the town granted to Verizon New York, Inc., a corporation duly organized under the applicable laws of the state of New York, the franchisee, effective as of October 24th, 2008, a non-exclusive initial franchise to install, maintain, extend, and operate a cable system in the town for a term of 15 years. And whereas the initial franchise agreement has expired, and whereas the franchisee has operated a cable system in accordance with the initial franchise as of the effective date on its existing telecommunication facilities consisting of a fiber to premises telecommunications network in the franchise area, which also transmits non-cable services pursuant to authority granted by Section 27 of the New York Transportation Corporation's Law as amended, and Title II of the Communications Act, which non-cable services are not subject to the cable law, or Title VI of the Communications Act, and whereas pursuant to and in accordance with applicable federal and state law and town, the town undertook a process to determine whether it would renew the initial franchise and the terms of such a renewal, whereas the town has examined the past performance of the franchisee and has determined the franchisee is and has been in material compliance with the initial franchise and applicable law, and, oh, you gotta be kidding me.
You want to do one of those enter as though reds?
Yeah, enter as though read.
I just have one question. I thought it was a term of 5 years. It says 15 on the resolution, but I thought it was 5.
It is 5 years.
Okay. So we're just going to change it then to and operate a cable system in the town of Kent for a term of 5 years.
Are you talking about the second
No,
paragraph?
this
Oh, wait,
says,
that's
this
the
says, that's the
initial.
old.
That's
the okay,
contract.
okay.
That's
I'm making-
2008.
Okay.
So I'll skip to this
Go down
one.
to here.
I will. What did I say I was supposed to say? As duly read, or as,
Enter as though read.
enter as though read, whereas a duly noticed public hearing affording an opportunity for those interested parties to be heard on the proposed franchise renewal agreement was held before the town on April 15th, 2025, and continued to May 6th, 2025. And whereas the project as proposed has been determined to be a type 2 action pursuant to the regulations of the New York State Department of Environmental Conservation promulgated pursuant to the, I don't think I got that word right. Promulgated pursuant to the State Environmental Quality Review Act, which regulations state that type 2 actions will not have a significant effect on the environment and is therefore not subject to further review. Now therefore be resolved, the town board determines that it is in the best interest of the public to award the franchise renewal agreement to the franchisee, and be it further resolved, the town board hereby authorizes the town supervisor to enter into the franchise agreement, renewal agreement with Verizon New York, Inc., and to execute any and all documents necessary to effectuate the granting of the franchise renewal on behalf of the town of Kent. I never did see where it was.
You make that motion.
Yeah, but I never saw the actual 5-year
The
part.
time.
But I do make that motion. It's not written in there.
It's not on the resolution, but it refers to the agreement, so.
Okay, I make that motion.
Second.
All in favor? I make a motion to move the EMS item on the agenda up.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I invite our EMS coordinator, David Rains, up to give us an update.
Thank you, Supervisor McGlaughlin. Thanks for a couple minutes here, and I'll make it quick. Just a quick brief update. Our revenue is about $70,000 as of date with the last invoice that came in. New radios that were supplied by the county have been installed. Matt did a great job over last week for 3 days working with the vendor. We're waiting on the award of the grant to use that for the installation cost. The Kent Fire Department graciously gave us a bunch of fire gear, which is fantastic. So now we have fire gear on both ambulances in the event we have to assist at a car accident. They also gave us some oxygen tanks and additional supplies, which is going to be a huge savings. I signed off on their fire department certification with the state of New York so they can be a certified first responder organization. I'm still in discussion with the Lake Carmel Fire Department to transfer their operating certificate since they have sold their ambulance. They have to release that operating certificate. They can't have an operating certificate without an ambulance. So that'll be transferred to the Town of Kent EMS. We're working through that. It's quite a bit of paperwork. We participated in the open houses at both Kent and Lake Carmel Fire Department on April 27th. We had both ambulances deployed. We participated in drills with them. It was a great day. We had a chemical suicide response training on April 9th behind the Lake Carmel Fire Department, which went really well, and they made a video. Sorry. And we have a call. Several of us have and will be participating in the virtual safety seminar put on by Comp Alliance, the insurance company. We have a couple people signed up for that tomorrow, or Thursday, thank you, I apologize. The primary ambulance is at the town highway. We were having a significant vibration. They believe it was the drive shaft, so they took the drive shaft out. It's being evaluated in Danbury, just the drive shaft, to see if that's the issue. I'll update Jamie once that comes back. We'll see if that's it or if it's something else. Working with Matt. Matt's going to speak to you real quick about the analytics and just a little bit on our request for the Lucas. As far as the request for the Lucas, it's more of, we don't expect you to take action. We wanted you to know this is kind of where we are. We did have multiple CPR calls in the last 12 days. I think we had 4 or 5. And when we get
Not to interrupt you, but can you explain to people what a Lucas
Oh, sure, no problem. So Lucas device is a CPR assist device that has a hard pan that you put behind the patient's upper back, and then the device snaps over the top of the patient. It adjusts for size, and there's a big cup that goes up and down that mimics the CPR motion, and it's designed to do accurate CPR. It allows you to get it all strapped in, and then you can manage the airway. You can assist the paramedics. You can deal with injuries that there might be secondary or the cause of the cardiac arrest. And it does effective CPR. Everybody, I say everybody, all the agencies in the county, all the ambulance corps and the fire department ambulances have at least one. For whatever reason, we haven't acquired one yet, so we're looking to do that. And that's a big ticket item. It's a $20,000 item, but it's a sole source from Lucas. There's not any other ones out there. We did look at some used ones, but we had some concerns about the lack of warranty, because this thing takes a beating. I mean, it's not it's used in a clear emergency. The person's obviously life is in danger, and usually it takes a beating. So we didn't want to look at one without a warranty. So that's what a Lucas device is. It's a CPR assist device that we strap onto the patient. So Matt, why don't you take them through the analytics real quick, and then.
Hello, Matt DeFalco, Assistant Chief for Town of Kent EMS. You guys all have the packets in front of you that's got our analytics report for the month of April in 2025. So we had 87 calls. That's a little bit of a decrease from previous months. In previous months, we had like about 95 to 100, right around in that area. 71 of those calls we were able to cover due to the fact that a lot of these calls are first calls. So our ambulance, our EMTs are already out dealing with that first call, and then either a couple minutes after or while we're out, helping this other patient, another call will drop, and those calls typically go mutual aid to the next available town, whether that's Carmel or Patterson or whoever they can get to cover that call for us. Out of those 71 that we covered, 56 of those went to the hospital. We were canceled for 3 of them. That means whether police were there and they took care of it. 4 of those are, like the chief touched on, our cardiac arrest calls. All 4 of those patients unfortunately expired, which it's why it's so important for us to get this Lucas, because that's a huge life-saving device. A lot of us are we don't thank our bodies enough for the work that it's doing right now. We're all relaxed, most of us. I'm not, but we're all relaxed sitting here right now. But when we stop working, sometimes it takes 10 of us to help this person. And that Lucas device gives us the ability to branch out and to cover other areas that need help. Like Chief was saying, airway, helping the medics start their intravenous medications. They have to push epinephrine and sodium bicarb, and I'm using big words that nobody knows about. But it's a lot of work to bring somebody back from a cardiac arrest. That's why it's really critical for us to be able to have this, in our mission to save lives in this town. What else we got? Out of those couple of the ones that we transported, 14 to Danbury, 37 to Putnam. Putnam is mostly where we go to. Danbury, we bring our more significant trauma patients or patients that are a little bit sicker than Putnam is able to accommodate there. And Med Center that's where most of our traumas on the highway go to. We're about the same with however many patients come with us as BLS and patients that go to an ALS. ALS meaning we have one of the Empress medics on board with us, and they're providing the patient care. So I've been about the same for the last couple of months. We are working as best we can to reduce these scene times, but sometimes it's just we get to a scene and there's environmental factors, or we need more manpower to lift a patient that might be heavier than 2 of us can handle. So there's a lot of factors that go into these times on scene, these response times. Sometimes Town of Kent is a little bit of a big area, so coming from where we're coming from, if there's a call all the way up in the top corner of the town, it takes a little bit of time to reach that location. But we are doing the best we can to reduce those scene times by training our EMTs to know what to do, to know when to seek out additional resources, and just overall provide the best patient care in the quickest amount of time and extract them from wherever they're at, get them to the hospital. And the last thing on there is basically just a rundown of what our most common calls are for the month. Breathing difficulty, that's a huge thing across EMS everywhere. We've had a couple sick person general exams. That's, people experiencing flu-like symptoms, people sick, people nauseous, dizzy. They call us to come and evaluate them and transport them if they needed. Big uptick in motor vehicle accidents because we're getting into those summer months. A lot of kids are, spring break and summer is coming up, and so that contributes to a lot of our motor vehicle accidents. People are on vacation. People are coming in to New York from other places, and they might not know our roads. Non-traumatic pain and a couple of seizure calls. But the one that sticks out to me is always going to be the CPR calls, because some of those patients, we'd be able to help them a lot better. Their chance of survival will increase significantly if we have the proper tools to be able to help them. Do you guys have any questions?
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Please educate me.
Yes,
When
ma'am.
is it indicated to do CPR perhaps with a device like this as opposed to using an AED?
So we use AEDs and Lucas's in conjunction, because if it's a CPR call, a person is in what's called cardiac arrest. You're having a heart attack. Your heart has stopped. It's not pumping. When we get there, if you're not breathing, we don't see chest rise. We have no pulse. We initiate CPR. Then what we do is, like I said, it takes a lot of people. Somebody's putting on the AED pads. Somebody's putting in, if we're just BLS, we're putting in OPAs, NPAs. Those are oral airways, nasal airways. Try to open that airway as best as we can. We're hooking up oxygen so that we can maintain positive airway. Now with that, we also have to be doing the compressions the entire time. So that kind of wraps up one person to be doing the compressions while that other one person is doing all of those other tasks that have to be done. And this person over here, you know, we talk about it, you know, like it's a simple task, but you get winded very quickly by doing that. And when you get winded, the quality of compression starts to deteriorate. So in order to have effective compressions, everything works together. So the reason we're doing the airway stuff is to maintain oxygenated blood flow throughout your entire body. So if you're not doing the proper compressions, then the circulation is not where it needs to be in order to ensure that you get some kind of meaningful resuscitation out of that patient.
So when you have the device on them, that
When you have the
you're
device-
interested in getting, you can still get the AED pads in there and do the
Yes.
stuff you need to do?
Yes, the pads go here and here. The device has a suction cup that's about that big, goes in the center of the chest right there, and does its compressions automatically, and I can worry about everything else that I have to do. My EMTs can worry about everything else that they have to do. And then, like I said, that brings the patient's chance of survival way up, just by that one simple tool that we could get.
Thank you.
Anything else?
Question, do you bring that device to the patient where they are, or do you bring the patient to the ambulance and apply it at that
So
point?
when you get the Lucas, right, it comes kind of like in a little backpack carrying device. So if we get a cardiac arrest, we're taking our oxygen bag, we're taking our AED, we're taking our portable suction, and we're taking our Lucas device. We bring all this equipment into the scene, wherever that scene is. And that scene could be in the nursing home, that scene could be in somebody's house, that scene could be in the middle of the woods with a hiker, you know. So think about that. We're carrying all this gear and the stretcher and whatever devices we need to extricate these patients. Sometimes you're already winded by the time you reach the patient, you know? So now you have to go into compressions and you're like already winded, you know? So you hope you got 10 guys with you, but sometimes you only have 2. And that's just the nature of the beast in this job. So, you know, I hope nobody here, you know, ever has to experience that situation and be in the same room as a cardiac arrest. But it's chaotic. Yeah, one of the most chaotic, it is the most chaotic call, I would say, that EMS goes on.
And this will take some of the chaos out of it.
Yes, it does.
I guess what I'm not really up on is kind of how we're doing with receivables and whether this is something that's readily budgeted for, because I'd really like to see this go forward.
I'm going to let Chief.
So, yeah, it was not budgeted for. I can't speak to that, but it wasn't budgeted for. So receivables were at 70,000. There's 240,000 in receivables outstanding. It's about a 90-day lag, so that's why we're just seeing it now from starting in January. So I anticipate about 20 to 25,000 a month moving forward now that we're in a cadence. But, you know, it's going to take into the end of first quarter to receive of 26 to see the receivables from 25. I mean, we're running about 90 to 100 days behind. It's just the nature of starting from zero at January 1.
Thanks.
So before you two leave, I just want to read a text that I had received a couple weeks ago from our lifeguard supervisor. He knows I'm reading this, so it's fine. I was unfortunately able to personally experience the new Town of Kent EMS ambulance service on Sunday night when my appendix almost exploded. They did a wonderful job. I mean, this also has some of our lifeguard stuff in it, so I won't read all that. They were there almost immediately and got me there very quickly, and I'm extremely grateful for that, for their service. Feel free to use that as a testimonial. They might have saved my life. So,
Yeah, that was we went and looked at that call. We got to the scene within 6 minutes, and we got him to the hospital in like 14 minutes. And he went into surgery. His appendix was at the point of letting loose, so it was kind of critical. So it worked. He was smart. He called. He wasn't going to call. He wasn't going to call for help, but he called for 911 and everything. And Kent PD was on the spot with us and helped us get him out of the house, so it went really well. And there's been a tremendous, with working with Kent PD and Kent Fire, they've been tremendous. So, and that's what makes this work. So, again, if you have no other questions, I know you have a lot on the agenda. Whatever, just update me on, if you need more information on the Lucas, we'll do some more homework. We're not looking for an immediate decision. We just want you to know this is kind of real high on our priority. And I didn't know that we could finance it, and I don't know if the town's interested in financing, but we gave you that information as well.
So I'll talk to Christina
Yep.
this week, and then I'll put it on the agenda for the 20th,
Okay.
and we can all talk
Yeah,
about it again then.
that's fine.
That way.
Yeah,
That
absolutely.
way
yeah.
everyone can have the
Yeah, we don't
backup.
want to put you in a position like we're looking for an immediate decision, but
Mm-hmm.
I think with the driver here, Supervisor McGlasson, was the fact that we had 4 or 5 CPR calls in 12 days. And we said, we really gotta, this is,
And you're just looking to get one of these or two?
just one.
Okay,
This one, yep.
thanks.
Yep, and we bring it right, we wait at the hospital for, them to finish, and then we put it right back in service, and, we're gonna continue to look for grants for additional equipment like that, additional defibrillators and things like that, but it's kind of critical that we get one in place, especially before the summer, which is typically when we see the significant uptick. The 2 upticks in cardiac arrest are in the beginning of the summer, when people get out there and think they're heroes, and they start doing stuff that they haven't done in months, and then the first snowstorm, right? First heavy snow, where people are out there, doing stuff. So, all right, well, thank you for your time. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
So now,
Chief.
since you're,
Chief, I just want to say, and I think I speak for the town board and all the residents of Kent, thank you. You're doing a great job. I think we appreciate your service, and I think the results show for themselves. So
Great.
thank you guys very much.
Thanks.
Yeah, here you
Thank you.
thank you.
Maybe we should ask Taryn on Tuesday.
Yes.
If we can look for some more grants on this.
So we have one other item for
Yeah,
EMS.
let's,
I'm just gonna do it all right now.
Okay.
They are looking to hire 2 more part-time employees. They've passed their, we've got the background checks and the drug screening, so I'm asking that we appoint Rachel Jano and Michael Lyons for a rate of $20 an hour. Part-time, they'll just be added into the schedule.
You just got to dig for it because you're out of orders.
All right,
I got it.
sorry.
You're out of order, Chief. You got it?
Yeah, I make a motion to adopt a resolution authorizing the hiring of EMTs. Whereas the town of Kent is seeking to fill the position of part-time emergency medical technicians, and whereas per the letter dated April 25th, 2025, from David Range, Chief of the Town of Kent EMS, Mr. Range is recommending Rachel Juno and Michael Lyons as part-time EMTs. Now therefore be it resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Kent hereby authorizes the hiring of Rachel Juno and Michael Lyons as EMTs pending completion of all background checks and civil service requirements at a rate of $20 per hour, and be it further resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Kent hereby authorizes supervisor to execute any and all documents necessary to give effect to this resolution. I make that motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I make a motion to move highway up on the agenda.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, Richie. I know you want to go home, so we're gonna move you up so that way,
Why don't you just put them at the beginning for every agenda?
I don't know, I forgot. Because I do it as they come in and I don't know.
He already missed Jeopardy, so it doesn't matter.
Well, he recorded it, I'm sure.
He doesn't know.
All right, 2 things for highway. Number 1 is the Putnam County IMA for the highway departments. It's, I sent that up to you guys last week. It's all the town supervisors and the village mayors, bipartisan, are all in 100% support of this. Right now, if, just for the public, if you want to have a shared service, if I want to have one, if Sean, if you're Carmel, I have to have one with you, within Patterson, and Phillipstown, and Putnam Valley, and Southeast, and then Southeast has to have a separate one. So what we're doing, and actually Tommy Fury, the DPW for the county, and I designed this, it's kind of, I call it the NATO agreement. We all sign one document, and it saves a lot of paperwork, and we can work, we can cross help each other out without all the silly paperwork and approvals and everything else, and we're doing it anyway. So This is the first time in New York State a document like this is going to be put to use, and actually Cornell is asking us for copies ready. So I would ask you to authorize, for the town supervisor to sign this. And any questions on it?
We've already done it anyway. You did it with paving projects and the bridge projects and stuff like that.
Yeah, but this
down
is
there.
just one,
This is
is
just
going to be
codifying for everybody.
the county and 9 other municipalities, so it's a really,
Yeah, this is the first time it's all municipalities in one agreement, so that each one has
I
an
have separate
individual
ones with the different
yeah.
towns now, but it works out well, and it's foolproof because as you go from different highway superintendents to different town boards, if, I don't know, say Carmel has some knucklehead someday there, and I don't want to work with them, I don't have to share anything with them. You just shun them. But, but usually, no, that's the way it works, though. You just say, no, I don't want to work with you, you're jerks, and that's that. So anyway, I asked permission to have, if you guys would sign that,
Okay,
Supervisor McGlasson.
Let's do that. Let's do one at a time, so,
Sue
okay.
has a question.
We have public
Yep.
comment on it right now?
Yeah.
Susan Cotter, Tanakent. So on page 4, it says, "The term of this agreement shall commence on the date of the fully executed agreement and shall continue for 12 months." This
You
agreement,
have the revised copy
I don't know. I have the copy that I got off of the town.
recently?
That's the copy
Yesterday?
we have
Yes, this
also.
is what I have.
This agreement shall renew
Automatically,
automatically. I didn't read all that. On each year following for a 12-month period unless modified or terminated by the parties upon which. So it can change in 12 months, correct?
If we want to.
If we want to.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Well,
That's
you
standard.
Or if
know,
anyone
You
wants
might
to.
have a glitch, you might have a disagreement, you might have breakage of equipment, and then there's arguments. So in 12 months, everything gets ironed out.
Yeah, if it has to be done.
All right.
Or prior to, at any
it's not
time, any
You
one of
had
these people.
the county attorney's office and 9 different
Right.
town and village
I read
attorneys look at this document.
Sure.
It was reviewed by 10
Okay,
different,
I'm just bringing out a point.
It's a
that
classic
not
clause.
forever.
well, hopefully it is.
Well, could not. Nothing's forever.
Why are you so negative about
I don't know.
that? It's gonna work. It's a beautiful,
And you just got back
document.
from vacation.
I come back and I'm just gonna smile all the time.
It's a beautiful document. It's
It's
gonna
a
be good for
beautiful
everybody.
smile, it's a beautiful thing.
All
He's a
right,
sick man.
we good on this one?
Is everyone good?
No, this is fine.
Okay,
I got it if you want.
all right.
All right, the next item.
Oh, wait. Let's
Rich,
vote
we're
on
gonna do one
that,
at a
and then
time.
we'll move on to the next one.
Make a motion to adopt the resolution to approve the intermunicipal agreement with Putnam County and Putnam County towns and villages. Whereas pursuant to New York General Municipal Law, Article 5G, local governments are authorized to enter into municipal cooperation agreements for the performance among themselves or one for the other of their respective functions. And whereas the town of Kent wishes to enter into an intermunicipal agreement with Putnam County, the town of Patterson, the town of Phillipstown, the town of Putnam Valley, the town of Southeast, the village of Brewster, the village of Cold Spring, and the village of Nelsonville, the municipalities wish to have access to and share specialized highway equipment, the agreement. And whereas the town board of the town of Kent wishes to approve the agreement and authorize the town supervisor to execute the agreement, now therefore be it resolved that the town board of the town of Kent hereby approves the intermunicipal agreement with the municipalities. Be it further resolved, the town supervisor is hereby authorized and directed to execute any and all agreements and other documents necessary to give effect to this resolution, consistent with the terms hereof, all in form satisfactory to the supervisor and the town attorney. I make that motion.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay, now you can move on.
All right, my next item is permission to purchase the skeleton bucket, not the truck. It's, when I traded in the Bobcat excavator and the skid steer, we got rid of all the attachments to the Bobcats because we didn't need them, so we have the new Cat equipment, and this is an attachment that I was looking to get. It's basically for the landfill. It's a loader bucket. It's like a what do you call it? Not a colander. It's when you shake a sifter, because we still have to get rid of all the dirt and all the fill at the landfill that's been put there over the years. and the DEC still wants us to get it out of there. So this bucket is going to enable me to dig in, and I have a screener, but the screener doesn't work fast enough. You dig in with this bucket and you just shake it and you get the rocks out. And the rocks I've been stockpiling because the Nichols Causeway, we redid the road 9 years ago, and all the guide rails are coming to the side again. They're falling in, and there's nothing to hold them. So I just received, it took me 2 years to get this, but I have a 2-year permit from the DEC that I can put fieldstone on the buttresses, the stone buttresses on the side to try to build that up, so we, hold it much better than it is, because that was built in 1890, that causeway, and it was built as, it was a construction road when they built the reservoir. And as far as the DEC engineer that I spoke to, we could surmise is that it wasn't supposed to be a permanent road, but back in 1890, it was fine for wagons and Model Ts and everything else, so they kept it there, but for the 21st century, it's just not sufficient. And so, anyway, the rocks that I'm going to take out of the landfill are going to go sometime this summer. I'm going to close Nichols Road down for 2 or 3 weeks, and we're going to put, fortify the sides with it. So that's why I need this bucket for the landfill and the sift fill. But anyway, I had a mass selling of attachments for the Bobcats, and this is just the exchange. It's really just an exchange.
Okay.
I wanted to explain about the causeway to you also.
Well, now I'm voting no, because that's my main thoroughfare. I don't want you to close it down. No, I'm kidding. All right, we good?
Any board comment?
They were supposed to flood all the way up to almost Farmers Mill Road originally when they built that. If you look at a map, when you're standing on the causeway, if you look north, they were supposed to flood that whole thing up to Winetown, and they stopped there.
Ann's house would have been underwater.
That's right. Well, we're in pretty high elevation, but yeah.
All right, you ready? Everybody?
Yeah.
Good? I make a,
read?
yeah, sure, go ahead.
Okay. I make a motion to adopt a resolution authorizing the purchase of a skeleton bucket. Whereas the Town Board of the Town of Kent received a request dated May 1st, 2025 from the Town Highway Superintendent Richard T. Offmer Jr. to purchase a 2.5-yard, 100-inch skeleton bucket with fusion coupler, the equipment, a copy of which request is annexed hereto and incorporated herein by reference, and whereas the Town Board has determined that there is a need to purchase the equipment for the town's highway department, and whereas the town's procurement policy exempts from competitive bidding purchase contracts that are made under municipal contracts pursuant to the general municipal law, and whereas in accordance with the town's procurement policy and the general municipal law, the town board wishes to authorize the highway department's purchase of the equipment for a price not to exceed $8,972 through a contract awarded by Sourcewell Government Contract to H.O. Penn pursuant to contract number 011723-CAT. Now therefore be it resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Kent hereby authorizes and approves the purchase of the equipment from H.O. Penn pursuant to the contract awarded by Sourcewell at a cost not to exceed $8,972. And be it further resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Kent hereby authorizes and directs the supervisor to execute any and all documents necessary to give effect to this resolution. I make that motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Now we'll go back up to the top.
All right.
All right, so our first item is Lake Carmel Park District. We are going to rehire our lifeguard supervisor, James Garbarino, for the 2025 season for a rate of $9,750.
Can we pay him less because he doesn't have an appendix?
I think I'll ask him. We can do it with an amount not to exceed
Yeah,
$9,700, and I'll talk to him. How's that?
Okay.
Yes. Maybe, yeah, you're
Right.
right. He should work for free because we saved it, you
Right,
know? All right, we'll talk
Right.
to him about that.
I make a motion to pass a resolution to hire the Lake Carmel Park District Lifeguard Supervisor, whereas the town of Kent is seeking to fill the 2025 summer position of Lifeguard Supervisor for the Lake Carmel Park District, and whereas James Garbarino, who served as Lifeguard Supervisor during the 2022, 2023, and 2024 seasons, has submitted an application to fill the position of Lifeguard Supervisor for the 2025 season. Now therefore be it resolved, the Town Board of the Town of Kent hereby authorizes the hiring of James Garbarino as Lifeguard Supervisor of the Lake Carmel Park District for the 2025 season at a rate of $9,750 $750 for the season. And be it further resolved that the town board of the town of Kent hereby authorizes the supervisor to execute any and all documents necessary to give effect to this resolution. I make this motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Next, we need to buy the I always say cowboy, but Cow Bay sand. So we went out, we got 3 quotes, and the lowest price being $56 per yard delivered with MJB Enterprise. So I'm asking that we get the sand delivered because we need to start the season.
Okay.
Comments? Questions? I wish it was cowboy sand.
Yeah.
Cow Bay sand. I make a motion to pass a resolution accepting a quote for beach sand, whereas the Lake Carmel Park District has advised the town board that there is a need to purchase beach sand for use within the Lake Carmel Park District, and whereas in accordance with the town's procurement policy, the Lake Carmel Park District clerk requested 3 quotes for 70 yards of sand with delivery and received 3 quotes in response to such request, a summary of which is annexed here to and incorporated herein by reference, and whereas MJB Enterprises LLC has submitted the lowest quote in the amount of $56 per yard, and whereas the town of Kent wishes to accept the quote of MJB Enterprises LLC. Now therefore be it resolved, the town board of the town of Kent hereby accepts the quote of MJB Enterprises LLC for 70 yards of sand delivered for the price of $56 per yard. I make this motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I did highway.
Yep, now we're on to recreation. So our first item is to hire seasonal park workers. We would like to hire Emerson Appleyard to start effective May 19th for a rate of $19.50. Emerson is returning to us after working here for a few years. So, as long as there's no comment. Okay, let's do Emerson first.
I make a motion to pass a resolution to hire a seasonal park maintenance worker for recreation and parks, whereas the town of Kent is seeking to fill a vacant position for seasonal park maintenance worker for the Recreation and Parks Department, and whereas by email dated April 22nd, 2025, Karen Schuman, Senior Recreational Assistant, informed the board that Crew Chief Edwin Swanson has recommended the rehiring of Emerson Appleyard to fill the vacant position, and whereas the town board wishes to accept the recommendation as further detailed above, now therefore be it resolved, the town board of the town of Kent hereby authorizes the hiring of Emerson Appleyard as seasonal park maintenance worker for the Recreation and Parks Department, subject to satisfactory completion of all required background checks at an hourly rate of $19.50 effective May 19th, 2025. I make this motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I'm also asking tonight to hire a temporary recreation assistant. Nathaniel Wolf has worked for us in the past, and he's going to come on and step in as the temporary rec assistant for a rate of $19, starting on May 8th.
Okay. Somebody else want to read them?
Yeah, I got it. Is that Nathaniel?
Nathaniel.
Make a motion to adopt a resolution to hire temporary recreation assistant for recreation and parks, whereas the town of Kent is seeking to fill a vacant position for temporary recreation assistant for the Recreation and Parks Department. Whereas the town board wishes to hire Nathaniel Wolf to fill the vacant position of temporary recreation assistant, now therefore be it resolved, the town board of the town of Kent hereby authorizes the hiring of Nathaniel Wolf as temporary recreation assistant for the Recreation and Parks Department, subject to satisfactory completion of all required background checks at an hourly rate of $19 an hour effective May 8th, 2025. I make that motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And the last item for recreation is myself and Councilwoman Campbell worked very hard last week to apply for a grant to, which hopefully we get, to redo the lights at Ryan's Field. They're very old and we need to really upgrade them, but unfortunately it's a very large cost. So Ann, is there anything you wanna?
I just want to say, I just double-checked, the grant has a 10% match, so it's a
Okay.
really good deal for the town if we get it. And it looks like we applied for a total project cost of $310,000, and that is for the new lighting system for both fields, correct?
Yep, correct.
As well as repairs to the electrical panel.
Yes. With this, we would be able to control the lights from our phone. I could, sometimes they are left on, unfortunately, and the lights are very expensive when they're left on, so we'd be able to see everything and know that they're on and turn them off.
And also they're LED lights, so there would probably be significant cost savings on electricity and reduction of the town's carbon footprint, which helps with Climate Smart.
What did you spend $20,000 on a year ago or 2 years ago for lights on there?
That had to be upgrades because there was safety concerns with the panels.
Yeah, those
So
electric.
it had nothing to do with
Electrical,
Like, it was just one part.
electrical
Yes,
panels were
yes.
bad.
Very bad. And it was we were lucky we didn't have a fire,
Sparks flying.
so.
Sue Kotzer, what was the amount? And
$310,000.
$310,000 for
Yeah,
lights.
LED lighting systems to light up an
That's-
entire couple of baseball fields is not cheap.
I just wanted clarification that my ears heard what you said. 310,000.
Correct.
Wow.
Which we would never be able to do unless we got a grant. I mean, it's crazy how much,
Is there anything wrong with them right now? Like, they're lighting up.
yes, they are. But with this new upgrade, we would get better, it would be maybe more energy efficient, so we would save money with that. Sometimes they randomly turn off. If they get too hot, they turn off, and I've been there when they've turned off in the middle of the night during a game, not in the middle of the night, but you know what I'm saying, 9 o'clock at night, and they just turn off, and then you have to let them cool for a little bit before you can turn them back on. And if you turn them back on too soon, then you're just done, cancel the game, because they're not gonna turn back on for you.
I haven't calculated what the potential cost savings would be, but since this is a 10% match, I think that over the life of these new lights, if we're lucky enough to get them, we would certainly recoup the town's match.
No, but,
Right, and you're talking about the lights going off. Sometimes people leave the lights on, right? And so that they stay on till the
well,
next
no,
day.
whenever someone leaves the lights on, they always claim, I didn't leave the lights on, they must have turned back on. I've never seen the lights turn on randomly, but they always said, we turned them off. When we left, all the lights were off,
So you're saying with this system, you can remotely,
Or we can even program it so, lights go off at 10 o'clock. Say there's a game at 7, we know about how long it would be, so they automatically go off at 10 p.m. Or we could just turn them off.
God hope there isn't overtime.
You mean extra innings?
All right.
All right.
I don't have this one.
No, I don't think, do we?
I don't think
No,
there was a formal
there's no
resolution.
resolution, it was just more in the way of an announcement.
I feel better.
But I make a motion to adopt a resolution going after this grant retroactively and with the intention that if we are successful, we would want to receive it.
And for clarification, we literally had last week to get it. We found out about it on Monday, I want to say, and it was all due by Friday,
I know, and
so.
I have to express gratitude for the support not only of our community, but of our legislators. In a matter of 48 hours, we were able to get letters from Senator Arkham, Assemblyman Slater, County Executive Byrne, our 2 Putnam County legislators, Elner and Adonisio, and 2 community groups, the White Sox and an adult baseball league. So we had a strong component of letters for the application. Really grateful for that support and for the way our supervisor and staff pulled together some quotes in almost no time.
Okay,
Okay, so you made them a motion.
Second.
Second.
okay. All in favor?
All right.
Go with it.
Okay. Next item, do you have something? You say something? No. Is municipal repairs. They are, let me just find it. I have a letter from our chief mechanic Matt Kiernan, saying, there's another letter attached about the sale of scrapping one of his vehicles with it being replaced by a car transferred from the police department. So we're transferring, what did I do? Oh, I did the transfer first. We'll do that for it first.
Aren't they in the same?
Actually, both of
Wait.
these
They're in the
vehicles are included in one resolution.
It's all in the same, okay,
Yeah.
all right, so I didn't realize it was on the same resolution. Okay, so so this is from our chief mechanic. You had requested an assessment of the condition of your 2011 Chevy Tahoe. This vehicle would not pass a New York State inspection. It needs repairs to the body, frame, and fluid leaks that surpass the vehicle in value. Kent Police has offered to transfer a 2017 Ford Explorer to your department as a replacement, and the Tahoe will be auctioned or scrapped, whichever yields the greatest value. So I didn't realize it was on the same resolution.
Yeah, I got it.
Any comments?
Good.
Okay.
Make a motion to adopt a resolution for the authorization to offer items for sale through Auctions International, Inc., and to authorize the transfer of vehicle from the Kent Police Department to Lake Carmel Park District. Whereas by email dated April 30th, 2025, and letter dated April 14th, 2025, Matt Kiernan, Chief Mechanic of Municipal Repairs, has requested to dispose of the Lake Carmel Park District 2011 Chevy Tahoe, VIN 1GN SK2EOO BR 266924, the 2011 Tahoe. And whereas the town board wishes to authorize municipal repairs to use the services of Auctions International, Inc. to offer the 2011 Tahoe for sale to third parties, or if there are no purchasers, to scrap the vehicle in exchange for its metal value. And whereas Mr. Kiernan has also recommended the transfer of Kent Police 2017 Ford Explorer VIN 1FM 5K 8AR 5HG AE 9669, the 2017 Explorer, and the town board wishes to accept the recommendation. Now therefore be it resolved, the town board of the town of Kent authorizes municipal repairs to offer the 2011 Tahoe for sale through Auctions International. And be it further resolved that the offer of sale through Auctions International results in no sale of the vehicle, municipal repairs is authorized to scrap the 2011 Tahoe for its metal value. And be it further resolved, the town board authorizes the transfer of the 2017 Explorer from Kent Police to the Lake Carmel Park District. I make that motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
No wonder nobody wants to work for motor vehicle with all those numbers.
Our next item is American Tower contacted me, and they need to modify a part on our tower. T-Mobile needs to modify it, so this is, we always have to approve it, and they're asking for us to approve the removal and installation of equipment. Any comments? We have public comment. And it's the tower at 16 Sybil's Crossing. Yes, the tree. Yes.
The tree that is constantly losing its boughs. Is there any way with this contract that you could talk to them?
Take them all off?
No.
Give up the dream
Well, I can.
of having a tree?
I can
Talk to
contact.
Penny Osborne. She's the one that
So-
contracted with them in the beginning, and perhaps in the original agreement, that needs to be addressed. I think it's defoliating all over town property, and there's branches hanging in the live trees, and can they fix it? Can they repair
I
it?
should.
So I can talk to, so this we're agreeing with is with T-Mobile for them to do it, but I can contact the tower company and see what they can do about our
Okay.
molting tree.
Because it's all over the property.
Yes.
Pardon?
They are responsible.
They're responsible for it. That was in the agreement.
They had to come down, they were responsible for taking them down. So they're responsible for keeping up with it. If the tree's falling apart, they can.
It's looking.
Maybe they can add some more leaves so it looks a little more realistic.
There must be
I
a
will-
clause in the contract that says they have.
Was it, did we speak?
Yeah, I wasn't here for that, but I'm happy to take a look
Yes,
at
I
it.
will-
I'm
will
sure
do,
they're
because
responsible.
it's all over the place.
I will contact them and see what we can do about our tree.
Ugh,
Thank you.
make a giant flagpole out of it.
Okay.
Will this upgrade make it taller?
No,
So it won't be any taller?
no, it's just adding it's
Just adding stuff?
adding something
Okay,
to
so
it.
the crows
No, it's not
could
gonna be
have
any
new
taller.
nesting.
No.
Nothing nesting in your tree. We can put a giant eagle nest as,
A fake one
yeah.
with a fake eagle. Okay. All right, you read.
Make a motion to, you want to read it, Sean?
Yeah, I'll get one in here. Make a motion for resolution authorizing the acceptance of proposal of T-Mobile Northeast LLC for equipment upgrade. Whereas the town, as landlord, previously entered into a lease agreement with Homeland Towers LLC as lessee for sites within the town of Kent, including the site at 16 Sybil Crossing, Kent, New York, hereinafter called the lease agreement. Whereas Homeland Towers LLC assigned its rights to Insight Tower Development LLC, which was acquired by American Tower Corporation. And whereas pursuant to the site lease agreements, the lessee must obtain the consent of the town board prior to the installation of certain equipment of users of the tower on the site. And whereas the lessee is requesting the town board's approval on a proposal for the removal and installation of equipment by T-Mobile at 16 Sybil Crossing, consistent with the plans prepared and submitted with the proposal, copies of which are annexed hereto and hereby incorporated. And now, therefore, be it resolved, the town board of the town of Kent hereby consents to the proposal consistent with the plans submitted by the lessee. And be it further resolved that the town board of the town of Kent hereby authorizes and directs the supervisor to execute any and all documents necessary to give effect to this resolution. I make this motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Our next item is the Climate Action Partnership Grant. And you want to take this one?
Sure. I think we've mentioned this at previous board meetings. This is a small grant with no match from the Climate Action Partnership Organization, and it's to support a community volunteer to do some networking and engagement with members of the community, determine what those members of the community would like to see happen in terms of conservation activities and climate activities, and then to start to take action with that. So it provides some funding for some staffing support if needed, and for supplies and materials for public events and that kind of thing. And it's a very open-ended grant in the sense that rather than having a specific plan of exactly what this group will do, they want the community volunteer to work with other people in the community, sort of build the community of people who will then determine the direction of this grant opportunity. And we're fortunate that we do have a community member, Christy Nitzel, who's a member of the Conservation Advisory Committee, who has stepped forward and said she would like to take this on. They are looking for a letter of support from the town board. In a sense, the town is applying, that's the agency, the nonprofit agency that's going to actually be administering the funding. The Conservation Advisory Committee, obviously, and Climate Smart will support it as well. So it's an exciting opportunity. It's intended for small towns such as ours. They're funding, I think, 4 towns total in the Westchester, Putnam, Dutchess region. I forget exactly how many counties are involved. But, you know, for example, a large town such as Kingston or City is not the intended recipient of this grant. So I think we have a good opportunity here, a good chance of getting it, and I therefore respectfully ask the board to support sending this letter of support that the supervisor would sign that's in your backup. And I'd be happy to answer questions about it.
And I got a bunch of questions,
Yeah,
because I'm a little confused.
Okay.
Is the town the recipient of the grant? Why are we sending a letter of support if we're the recipient?
Because that's actually the way the thing is structured, that the town has to support it. In a sense, we could say that the Conservation Advisory Committee is applying, but really it's the individual volunteer who's applying, and they need to be a member of some kind of an organization, and municipality is one of the options.
So the grant applicant is Christie herself.
Right.
On behalf of the town.
In the sense, the town is supporting the application of Christie to be this sort of climate ambassador. They provide some training for the cohort of these individuals, and then they will be getting involved in the community. I do have the link for the website if you would like to check it out and see more detail. But they were very specific about the requirements, and a resolution by the town board or a letter of support from the town board is one of the requirements of the application.
And who does the administration of the grant once it's received, the town?
I think that's probably the best way to handle it. I think the reimbursement process is going to be a lot simpler than what we're accustomed to when we work with organizations like DEC. But yeah, I think the funds would be going via the town rather than to the individual.
So the town employee that would be doing that, probably out of our finance department, would be able to build in a percentage of the cost of the grant to cover whatever time she puts into that. You know, here's my problem with this whole thing right now, Aunt. There's not a lot of detail here, but it sounds like the grant doesn't have a whole lot of detail to begin with, because
Yes.
you're not to make it up as you go. I think, I mean, for me, I think I'd like to see what you have to, the backup to go with it, to be honest with you,
Yeah.
because I've read this thing twice, and I'm kind of scratching my head going, I don't think I've ever seen a grant like this before.
It is unusual, and it's been a shift in my thinking as well, because I was talking with this volunteer, Christy, and saying, okay, we need to do a budget. What exactly do you think you're going to be doing? You
But
know,
they're saying no
and-
budget, you're saying.
And when we communicated with members of the organization, we were told, no, you don't have to have a specific plan right now. In fact, you shouldn't. The whole point is to sort of build this community engagement and let that group dictate the directions they want to go and the kinds of information that they want to generate, understanding that the information they provide to the town is not binding on the town in any way. We wouldn't be required to do anything with what they propose or provide.
So, but what you're building is technically kind of what the CAC is already. You know, they're kind of people come in there and come up with these different ideas and talk about the different projects we do. We don't have to take any recommendations from CAC. but we-
Exactly.
So it's very similar, if not following in the same exact line as that.
Right, and you know, one of the things that we all struggle with these organizations is that they're quite small. We don't always have a lot of community
there's
involvement
no
with
volunteer-
Climate Smart
no
and with
volunteerism.
KCAC. So to have a way to engage more members of our community and then get them excited about volunteering for some of the other things that might be going on, you know, cleanup activities or other climate-related events would be a real boon.
Could this grant be used, or the volunteer Christie be used as a catalyst to try to get more volunteers for those environmental programs? Is that
Exactly,
try to get more people involved and interested in that?
exactly. So there's essentially no cost to the town unless you want to think in terms of, yes, some administrative time to manage grant reimbursement, which could be done by, you know, could be done by me, for example, but probably at some point Christina would be involved.
Yeah,
What's
I
the
think it's-
deadline on it?
It's May 23rd, so we were hoping to pass this letter tonight, but we do have one more meeting prior to the submission deadline.
Can we just hold it off until the next meeting and see, get us that stuff?
Yeah,
Just so I can read, I can't understand this, it's different, that's for sure.
well,
Yeah.
you know, this is a community-based organization, and so
So
they
what is it?
definitely have a
We're-
different approach.
This is Partners for Climate Action out of Hudson.
Right.
That's who's giving the grant out.
Yes,
It's not
and-
New York State or,
Right, and we've applied for the grants before. They had one that was for building decarbonization. That was a $100,000 grant, which we unfortunately did not get. It was very competitive.
what's the dollar amount for this one?
It's only $22,000.
22.
And that's, if you go for both the staff time funding and the supplies and materials funding, it's $22,000. It's a very small grant.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, I
we're
think it's super vague, you know, what we're gonna spend money on. The other thing too is, it's similar, and I have to unfortunately say, you know, something, you know, with that $15,000 we spent on the groundwater grant there, that only to find out that a lot of that information is actually readily available, not all of it. So what a waste of $15,000 on that project, and again, a lot on me, I didn't read through the grant directly and do my due diligence on it. This is, at least that had some direction to it. This is entirely vague. And, you know, who gets the money, and it seems so politically pushed that, you know, I'd be a hard no on it,
I'm
personally.
not sure there's anything political about wanting to keep our community as pristine as possible.
You know,
But
how about this? I mean, I know it's short notice in 2 weeks. How about Christie? Are you Christie? I'm sorry, is Christie here? No?
No.
Could she put something, what she plans on doing, give us an idea what she has in mind to bring it to us so we can wrap our heads
Sure,
around
I
what it
do
is?
have a draft of her letter of intent that she has to submit as part of the grant. I can provide that. I had already sent the link to the grant program to everybody, and I can certainly send that again. And you can
Yeah,
review.
but you're telling me the grant's not giving you direction. I want to know what her idea, you're going to be getting money for her. Let's see what she is proposing to do for the town.
But again, it's going to be very open-ended, because we've been told by the sponsor that it has to be open-ended.
It's open-ended to what we're submitting to the sponsor, but she has to have in mind what she's looking for as far as reaching out to the public.
In a
and
sense,
meeting
no,
people.
because it's meant to be a community-building grant, so it's like, you know, having meetings or events at which they would, you know, talk with potential volunteers about what they might want to do. Do they want to have some kind of special event? Do they want to sponsor a repair cafe? You know, what kinds of events do they want to plan? So, yes, it's a very different way of thinking about
Yeah,
things.
yeah.
I know.
It's not costing the town anything.
No, except
Well, our time.
possibly,
Groundwater, you said that we paid 15,000, was that a grant, and was that paid by the town? This is not paid by the town.
no, we used ARPA funding to do the groundwater protection plan, which was a recommendation of our natural resources inventory.
But it could have gone to somebody
It was
else.
35,000, not 15.
Was it 35?
And when you say information that's readily available, we did look at using I forget the name of the program that DEC has for that kind of process, but that would only cover municipal water supply, so it would only have covered the water districts and not the rest of the town. And the recommendation we had was to do it for the whole town, because what we had from the county was way out of date and not complete enough. And that's why we voted to do that on ARPA funding. It's a totally separate thing from what
Several
this is.
people that I know are very knowledgeable on it told me that it's very redundant.
Well, it would have been nice if someone had said that at the time.
Like I said, it's on me. Due diligence. Next time I'll look through it, which is why my due diligence on this says, where's the money going? Who's getting it? I don't know. We're not spending it on it.
Well,
So-
again, it's not going to the town, but it's also, I mean, it's going to benefit the town, and
I'm not
benefit
getting
the
approval
community.
to spend government
It's more
money on something I don't know where it's
community-based.
going.
All right, let's table this then till the next meeting, and we'll
Absolutely,
get
and I
some,
will send more information.
okay.
Second.
Could she be here?
I don't think
No.
we need to, do we need to vote on it?
Need to
No,
vote
I
to
think we're
table
good. No, we're just gonna,
Okay. I give it. I
you take it back?
my
Thank you.
second.
Okay. Vouchers.
That was my out.
That's you.
Oh, this is 2 pages.
You might need a sip of water for this.
All right, I brought some
Should
water.
I fan them a little?
Brown
so we
and Brown
don't get too
Insurance,
worked up?
$4,835, renewal cyber liability policy. Cassidy Plumbing, $7,500, replace sewer injectors, 43 Park Road. Card member services, $8,250.84. April 2025 statement. Semco Water, $3,186.35. Kent Water District Number 1, March 2025 monthly operations. Semco Water, $5,717.75. Town Center, March 2025 monthly operations. Semco Water, $6,846.85. Kent Water District Number 1, April 2025 monthly operations. Semco Water, $2,899.77. Kent Water District Number 2, April 2025 monthly operations. Semco Water, $2,189.50. Town Center, April 2025 monthly operations. Cornerstone Associates, $2,500 for environmental stormwater contract for February 2025. First Person Sports, $4,785 for spring 2025 tactical laser tag. GAR Associates LLC, $12,000 for Town of Kent reassessment monthly contract. Hogan, Rossi, and Liguori, $5,416.63 for the retainer for legal services for the month of May 2025. H.O. Penn Machinery Company, Inc., $9,271 for highway equipment sale for Caterpillar Broom. H.O. Penn Machinery Company, Inc., $16,333 for highway equipment sale of Caterpillar Hammer. Kingston Equipment Rental, Inc., $3,622 for Lake Carmel Memorial Bridge dredge the shoreline. Kingston Equipment Rental, Inc., $74,090.70 for the final billing for the Lake Carmel Memorial Bridge. Laura Roberts, $3,825 for legal services for April 2025. Managed Technologies of New York, Inc., $3,138.06 for IT support from April 7th through April 14th, 2025, and security for May 2025. Managed Technologies of New York, Inc., $5,303.78 for Ryan's Field CCTV hardware. Mid-Hudson Athletics Corporation, $7,365 for Recreation and Parks basketball January through April 2025. Municipal Repairs, $5,806.79 for highway chargebacks. Municipal Repairs, $7,465.08 for sanitation chargebacks. Municipal Repairs, $4,488 for Lake Carmel sanitation chargebacks. NYSEG, $2,335.21 for Kent PD service from March 21st through April 21st, 2025. Ring Squared, $3,914.35 for phone services for May 2025. State Comptroller Justice Court Fund, $27,111 for March of 2025. Schnabel Engineering, $29,680 for the rehabilitation of the Lake Carmel Dam. Stewart Signs, $17,170.79 for the new Town of Kent LED sign. Wind Waste, $7,832.52 for Lake Carmel garbage from April 7th through November.
No, April 11th.
Oh,
It's just a week.
April 7th through the 11th, 2025. I was looking at November there. Wind Waste, $8,841.66 for Lake Carmel garbage from April 14th through the 18th, 2025. Wind Waste, $9,905.96 for Lake Carmel garbage from April 21st through the 25th of 2025. And Wind Waste, $7,213.74 for Lake Carmel garbage from April 28th through the 30th of 2025. I ask the board to approve as read.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, I have a bunch. Oh, I'm sorry.
That was Schnabel.
in the town of Kent Dam. But I just want to make sure that
I'm sorry, what body of water does it hold up? I didn't know that
the paperwork that says.
you know, right, Kathy, you're absolutely right. That dam is holding up the town of Kent. You're right. We should,
I live in the town.
as soon as that dam goes out, the whole town of Kent is washed out.
I'm just making sure that it is under the town of Kent who owns the dam.
So you want us to name the dam the Town of Kent Dam instead of the Lake Carmel Dam? Just to make you happy for this.
To make me happy, I just want to make sure where it's being coded under.
Well, this, you're talking about the engineering. We have money for that. We're
It's a
not.
grant.
It's a
That's
grant.
grant money, yeah.
Just making sure.
Yeah.
You want us to code the grant under,
Maybe you could put the.
Maybe we can call it the Kathy Doherty Dam.
we'll call it the Kathy Doherty Dam, and everybody will know what we're talking
I
about.
thought it went the other way around.
But yes, no, it's not, it's getting paid for by the grant money that not the grant money, I'm sorry,
It's a grant.
well,
It's a
there's a lot of it.
congressional
Yes,
line item grant
yes.
for the engineering,
Okay.
no matter what we call it.
All right. I have a bunch of announcements. The first one is I received a letter from Dr. Phil Bayer, Supervisor McGlasson. On Wednesday, April 9th, I returned home from errands and was informed by my wife that a smoke detector in our house was going off and would not shut off. Having virtually no firefighting training, I was perplexed. I called the Town of Kent Police Department and explained our situation. The receptionist said that she would send a car over to our house. Quite promptly, Officer Crawford arrived. He checked out our house and the faulty detector and said that the Kent Fire Department would arrive shortly. Indeed, within minutes, 4 firemen and 2 small truck vehicles arrived in full gear with all the technology involved with heat seeking and fire detection. Thankfully, we did not have a problem. Supervisor, this is not the first time that my wife and I have experienced interaction with both the town police and the town fire department. These individuals are exceptional. They are dedicated, they are knowledgeable. They seek to look out for your individual welfare. In your governmental responsibilities, I truly hope that you are able to point out the service that these individuals provide to all of us in the town of Kent. Thank you. So I just wanted to read that.
Very nice.
So, okay. And I now have a bunch of.
All the fun ones?
Yep, all the fun ones. So, we're going to start a new monthly series in the town of Kent called Espresso Yourself. It will be conversation and coffee with myself.
What a pun.
Espresso Yourself. And so for the month of May, I will be along with the tax assessor, Seth Plowski, from 10 to 11 in the courtroom. We're going to offer one every month. It's not always going to be during the week. Sometimes it'll be on the weekends, and it will have, maybe one month we'll have the police chief there. Maybe one month we'll have Lana there. It'll be a different person every month so that people can come and ask questions. It doesn't have to necessarily just be about the questions the tax assessor can answer. It could be anything, but Monday, May 19th, 10 to 11, join me right here.
Is it always espresso?
Yeah, did you come up with that yourself? That was cute.
Espresso yourself?
It's really just gonna be coffee, so,
I was gonna say, what if you don't
Coffee
like,
yourself?
and donuts,
and what
and
if you don't
donuts.
like espresso?
Yes, thank you.
We're just giving you a hard time.
I know, it wouldn't be. All right,
Wouldn't be the first time.
let me
Be
continue.
the last.
So Saturday, May 17th is our first Town of Kent Farmers Market of the season, 10 to 2 up here at Kent Town Center. They will also be held on June 21st, July 19th, and August 16th. I'm not going to read all of these, but we have lots of programs that we're offering for Kent Rec. We have kids yoga, we have adult yoga, power yoga with vinyasa yoga. I'm sorry, I don't know what that is. Summer boot camp we are offering. We're offering summer volleyball camp for the kids up at Edward Ryan Memorial Park. We're offering a summer multi-sport camp, a golf camp, and a baseball softball camp with Gap to Gap. So check the website for all of those camps that we're offering this year.
Great.
And you want to go next?
Sure. Jerma, were you going to talk about the
Oh.
Historical Society sale?
No.
I'm still trying to find out when it is. I was looking at the operating permit application, but it
Because
has
there's no date on the
There's
app.
no dates on them. I think what we try to do is align it with the Stormville, right? So that everybody
So
gets
keep the
off of
traffic.
84, goes right by there. It's the best day.
So do you know what date that's going to be?
I do not know, no.
All right,
It's just, I think they missed the first one already with their submitting the
the first one.
paperwork. Yeah.
So let's get it on the website when we do have it. I'm excited to go this year. I also want to thank everybody who came out for Kent Cleanup Day. I don't know exactly how things went down in Lake Carmel. I wasn't able to open the pictures that were sent, but I think we should do a press release. I believe there was a lot of activity. I know that KCAC worked on White Pond and filled an entire trailer with debris from a 1-mile stretch along the pond. And I want to really encourage our residents to think, and I know it's a lot of people from out of town, the impact on the wetlands by the lake and the lake itself when that amount of debris is tossed over time. So, but again, wonderful efforts by a lot of people in a lot of communities. I'm very grateful for that. And the library has a lot going on as usual. I wanted to mention that they have a raffle going on for Mother's Day. The drawing's actually May 30th. So you can stop in on this coming Saturday, May 10th, from 10 to 2 for the bookseller sale of the Friends of the Kent Library. You could pick up a raffle ticket, and you can learn about Medicare if you're in that age group. 10:30 a.m. will be a Medicare seminar at the library. They prefer pre-registration, but you can drop in. And then I also saw that the library, as usual, is going to be doing lots of great programming at the time of the farmers markets right here at the town center. So 10:30 a.m. there will be special programs for children at the farm market. And as always, there's a lot more to see on the website. Thanks.
Joe, do you want to go next?
Nope.
Oh, one more,
I was just going
KCAC
to
hike.
do the cleanup day, but
Oh.
Andy
Yeah.
already.
The Hawk Rock, right?
Yeah, there's a Hawk
Mother's Day.
Rock hike
Right.
on Mother's Day, 10 a.m., leaving from the end of Wayne Road. And information's on the website.
Great.
On top of the expenditure list for the month, you got Stewart Signs, just like guys, what that is, that's 17,000. That is ARPA money funds that are coming out from the town budget for a digital sign out in front of the town hall.
So we don't have to put the big highway sign out there anymore.
Correct, yeah, yeah. And the location is going to be on the north side of not in the center. What else we got? Lake Carmel and Kent Fire Department had their open house last weekend. It was great. The weather, as usual, it seems like every event we do on the weekend stinks, but great turnout. On both firehouses. And it was good to see some things that I learned while I was there. It costs about 10 grand, or at least just the outfit, the basic outfit for the firefighters there. No less, you can spend up to 30 or 40,000 given the type of equipment that they have. They demoed a car, cut it up, showed how that all works. So next time they have one, go. It's really exciting. The K9 units were out. The little kids definitely enjoyed that. Would we have a blood drive yesterday at Lake Carmel Fire Department? And they said that the turnout was excellent. They had a bunch of people, and that's exciting. I think the town of Kent, we come out to events, we come out to stuff.
It was the
and-
Kent Police that hosted it, and
Oh, was
they
the
had it
police?
at
At
yes,
the- very good.
at the fire department.
There you go. Credit. And good for the town of Kent to come out and do above expectations for blood donating. And it's quite easy to do, by the way. It's not hard to do. What else we got? So the K9 came out, to the tax assessor. I would say if you have issues with your tax assessment and you want to come down and talk to the tax assessor, which is Seth, he's a super nice guy. Just remember, go in with a grumpy face, get a grumpy face. So go in there with a kind heart, and he will help you the best he can. What do they say? Honey is better than vinegar for catching flies. So go in there. He does a job. He cares about everybody. And if you had a job where everybody came in and yelled at you, and every day, it's very hard to have that positive energy. So go in there, not with a grumpy face, but with a smiley face. Okay? And that's all I got to say.
Or you can espresso yourself.
Any public comment? And no one's allowed to make fun of me for that slogan.
No, I like it.
Okay,
It's
thank you,
very, cute.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I wanted to know if we have any update with Barton and LaJudas
Well,
on the sewer
for-
district?
For the sewer district, yes. So they are working on that.
Oh, we knew that.
Yeah. So, I've given them, some more information the other day, but yes, they are on it, though.
Well, because it's due for June, did you say, for a grant?
There was some talk of a grant application going in June. So I assume that would be the one WIA grant that we didn't get last time. We got the PFAS one, but we didn't get the more infrastructure-based one. But I don't know if those
That's
two
water
things are
district.
necessarily tied together.
No, that's water
That's water
district.
district. So you're referring
Yeah.
to the $35,000 for the study?
Correct.
Yeah, yeah, no, so we don't have any results as of yet, but I speak to them probably at least once a week. And
Right,
they're-
well, because you were supposed to involve the committee, you said in
Well,
February.
If they
you
don't
said-
have any information to give me, it's tough to tell the committee. We could join
Well, maybe
a
they have
meeting.
questions that, we could answer.
Anybody's, you could email me, or, we don't have to have a meeting to give me questions.
Well, we haven't had a meeting since October, so.
But there's nothing new to go on since then. But feel
Right.
free,
Well, we want to know,
Like, is it
the
contact
law
me?
has to be corrected,
I spoke
and-
recently with Eric Duden just to ask, exactly what's going on in case this comes up. And I think at this point, they're just wading through all of the documents and getting grips on the facts. And then when there's more to discuss, I think they will be back in touch with the town board and/or the committee.
Well, because there's projects that, want to come in and, nobody knows about unallocated, allocated, and, that it's being worked on and, the building inspector said it to me and I said, it's in
Right.
your
The
hands.
whole
But
outcome we're
again-
hoping for is a process, that we can all
Right.
use a rational process for that allocation. And,
Well,
we're
did
waiting with bated breath.
Did you pay Kent Manor yet?
I don't recall that we actually wrote.
You wrote them or something, but you said.
No,
you-
I wrote their voucher out. I don't think we wrote their voucher out yet.
We haven't paid Kent Manor yet this year, have we?
I don't think
No,
so.
We haven't seen their bill.
Yeah, they haven't
I mean,
called.
and they haven't gotten back to you or anybody else?
I haven't heard a thing.
Yeah, yeah, I know. Hey, like I
It's
said,
$120,000 or $30,000.
well, we have questions we have, right? That
Right,
are
I
associated
know,
with that money.
but they still, and then in the papers, it says like in 10 years, which we're over the 10 years, that you're supposed to like re-look at everything. And again, they sold Kent Manor, the condos, to Kent Hills and never told anybody. So, I just want to make sure
And
everything's,
we've, written letters to them, and I don't know what's the next step to force them to.
Show up at their offices, maybe, you and I.
it's out of my 15-mile
I don't-
radius.
I'll do that.
Baseball pads, I don't know.
But I mean, is there a legal junction at some point if we
Yeah,
demand?
potentially.
Yeah, there's always litigation
Yeah.
potentials. So, and I guess at some point, that's why we have to be careful what I say about this.
No,
but-
I understand. I'm frustrated because we're going on so many years that we haven't done anything. And if you go by what is in the paper, that, every 10 years, we were supposed to look at all this stuff. And everything's just costing money. Things are gonna have to be replaced. This process that needs to be done, we need to really.
I'm right with you.
And the Kent Manor, the whole thing, I'm leery about what are they doing? Where are we going with this? Are they gonna build? Are they not gonna build?
Yeah, those are questions I can't answer for you, but
Right.
I think we all have those questions, yeah.
Right. Well, again, though, they never even told the town that we sold Kent Manor, the condos, to Kent Hills.
Yeah, and I don't know whether they're legally required to even tell us that information. I
You
mean,
don't
we
think
already
so
con-
because they're the transportation, but it was, if you look at the papers, it was always mentioned Kent Manor. It wasn't just the wastewater treatment plant, so that's,
Yeah.
Yeah.
you're the attorney. I'm
Yeah.
just saying what I've seen in the papers.
Yeah, right, and we have to at some point nail down the detail of, you're right, there's a sunset on the tax.
Well, that was this year, March 2025
Yeah.
was the sunset, so they're done.
Yeah, so at least next year, they're gonna have to pay some kind of property tax, which should motivate them to do something with the property, either, who knows whether
Well, I
we
think
get-
he's in the Kent Hills person, I believe, is in the
They
rears.
build buildings, do we find the land trust somebody that buys it for us, and keeps preserved the town of Kent, which would be great. Rather than, put condominiums on that street, I can't see that street holding that traffic personally,
I
but
just, like I said, there's, a lot of movement, but, it's like we're stuck
I agree,
because of this, so.
yeah.
All right.
But, as soon as that comes through, we'll have a meeting with the sewer district immediately after that report is in my little pause.
And you still have committee members on the website that were here 13 years ago, just saying.
We need a Ouija board to get them up, I
You
think.
can email,
Longevity.
Anthony.
I don't even think one lives in the town anymore.
Simon Carey, Kent resident. It's nothing major. All it is that what's happening this weekend is Saturday in Veterans Park. There's the Master Gardeners are having a plant sale, their annual plant sale, and 4-H Tall Oaks Pony Club is going to be there with horse rides and crafts.
You know, I usually get the flyer for that, and I didn't get the flyer this year.
Yeah, it's on this Saturday.
Okay, thank you.
Sounds like Simon's got a personal interest in that pony club.
I'm going to be there parking.
I know.
I use the bathroom. Can we talk for 2 more minutes? Hi, Alex Sewell, Town of Kent, and also Kent Climate Smart. I'm talking about the Climate Action Partnership Grant, just clearing up a few things really quickly, but first, what was that voucher about laser tag? It was like a laser tag voucher or something that came across the desk?
Yes, so,
Is that, the contractor that does the laser tag?
so,
Yeah.
We contracted out.
yeah, so
No, it just
we
sounds
get,
awesome, right?
I thought your
Laser
question,
tag, I got excited. Like, can we
they
get
do
laser
it in
tag?
the walking path at Ryan's Field where they have all like it's like, they have the workout equipment there, they do it all, back there.
They
It's-
bring like
it's-
they bring like a bus or something in with all the
yeah,
equipment and everything.
It's
and-
very, it's really popular.
That's,
Just for kids, right?
We actually have a lot of adults that want it, so
We'll get you
we're
an
looking
ID.
into trying to do an adult program or night to do it, so.
So regarding the Kent Climate Smart and the Climate Action Partnership Grant, you know, I agree with Chris and, you know, Sean brought this up as well. It's not like the clearest grant to understand, you know?
Absolutely not.
Yeah, no, I had to go through it a few different times. So I'm a volunteer at Kent Climate Smart, and, you know, there's projects I've given like 30, 40, so I'm even like 50 hours just on like a specific project. We don't get any money for this. It's all volunteer entirely. It's for like weirdos that just want to help out. When this grant came across our desk, it was interesting because it's just free money to foster volunteering and participants to come up with sustainable initiatives. So there's no money from the town at all. And the only reason we're going through the town is because you need a nonprofit or an organization to apply for the grant. And because this stuff would benefit the town, it makes sense for the town to be the one that backs up the person applying for it. Christy, you know, she's on the CAC, so it seemed like a good fit, and she wanted to get some stuff done. Let's see.
Can I comment on that?
Yeah, please.
So I agree 100%, but we as the town are backing it up. And to say that there's no match to it, if we have our town financial person administering the grant, we're putting man hours and time and taking her away from other things. I think that as a town board, we have a responsibility to have a better idea of what the plan is for this.
Would it be
and
our
what her
grant writer
plan
that
is.
applies for the grant?
Excuse
Or
me?
I thought the grant would be applied for via Climate Smart without it going
No,
through
but you
the
have to
grant.
have it, the town is applying for it, so the town has to have an administrator. The administrator is gonna be entering all the paperwork that goes back to the grant people to say, we are fulfilling what we got the grant for. There's work behind the grant.
Yes. So would the town be able to use our grant
I
proposal
think
instead
so.
of having a contract
I
out
think
to-
so.
Okay.
That's what I had asked Ann, that,
Yeah.
if we'd be able to build that, whatever it was it $2,000? I don't even remember the amount. If we could take what we bill in time from our employees and put that back toward it. That's the kind of stuff we need to look at.
Yeah, because there's an optional, I think there was $10,000 for materials and an optional up to $12,000 for staffing. So we could certainly budget how much time we think Christina would need to spend periodically, you know, every few months to do the administration. It's a short-term grant, it's just 1 year.
So
And,
it's a one-year turnaround on it?
yeah, and we could put that into the budget.
I just think, reading the document that I read, and I did read through it twice, I walk away with more questions than,
Oh,
we see a
I
lot
read it
of
like
these.
3 times.
We
I mean,
we
you
see
know,
a lot of these come through
Yeah.
that are much more specific, so I want to understand it a little better.
100%, and it's like sort of the general purpose aspect of it that kind of threw me for a loop at first as well, but then it was really exciting because it's more about community outreach than it is about implementing a specific initiative. So it's like, here's this grant for this person to go get volunteers and people to be participating in it, right? You know, here, if you need a tent for the farmer's market, here's information so you can print off stuff. We get people in the town involved and
I
excited
guess
about
my problem
something.
is participate in what? You know, get
It
people
would
to
be-
come participate. What do we
No,
participate in?
absolutely, and that's, you're not wrong, right?
Yeah.
Because that is a little bit vague in the
Yeah.
wording of the grant.
And initially, in fact, Alex, I was thinking this would be a great way for us to work on developing a community climate action plan, because we did a municipal climate action plan, but we didn't do a community plan, and I sort of pitched that to Christie and said, let's go ahead with that. And then when we discussed it with the staff, you know, for this agency, it became very clear that that's not what they want. They want this to be guided by the community community members, not by the municipality. And maybe it'll end up being something where we will be promoting more of a community climate action approach, getting people to take advantage of energy navigators to save energy on their electric bills and reduce the amount of greenhouse gases they're producing, for example. But it has to be kind of driven by the community to be able to get the funding.
You could argue that having CAC and Climate Smart drive what it's for, they are the community. I mean, they are the volunteer community right there.
Oh, I wish we got paid for it. Oh, it'd be so nice. I was jealous of this when I saw it, because I was like, whoa, like that's, it sounds very similar to what we do as volunteers, yes. But, you know, in this day and age, volunteers are also fleeting, they get busy, they get disenfranchised, they wander away. This is to get younger people involved, like not specifically, but like, you know, could be used for that. Just to try to like curry favor, say like, hey, we're gonna meet here, you know? We're going to talk about this, and we have these ideas. How do you feel about these ideas? People in the neighborhood. You can have people canvass with ideas for community feedback. Like it's super broad, and it's, you know, it's free. As far as the town, it going through the town, but us using our own grants writers, I mean, like, I was a little bit, where do we land on that exactly? Would we be able to do that if we wrote the proposal?
We pay a grant writer a flat fee.
Right, but if we were to do it, and you wouldn't have to subcontract it out or do, it's like.
I'm not following. The grant, this is coming through our grant writer.
Well,
right?
actually, they have sent us the RFP a few times, but we've looked at the application, and it's a really simple Google form that, you know, Christie uploads her letter of intent, we would upload letters of support.
So it's not going through the grant writer at all?
We don't really need to take their time on it,
And it's a
because
short
it's
window.
so simple.
Yeah.
All right.
It kind of sounds like they're like, get somebody that can back this up, like they want to be involved, put them forward, and then, you know, details can follow, that kind of thing. But again, because it's free and it wouldn't cost the town anything, it's interesting.
I would love to see a larger community be involved. We have the same 3 to 4 people that show up for Climate Smart. We have 6 to 7 wonderful people working with KCAC. I would love to have 15 or 20 people who would say, yeah, we're really excited about this, we want to meet, make some plans, and then when we have future events and need support, that there's some people we can tap who want to be involved. I think it's a real benefit to our town. So I'm hoping that next time around we can go for it, and I will provide that information to everybody on the board.
Yeah. I'll leave it at that. Thank you.
Thanks, Alex.
Any other public?
Sue Kotzer, how is the playground for Hughes Park going? Is it still in storage?
Yes.
Yep.
When can we expect it to be set up? Any plan?
Yeah, Inside Engineering's working on it.
Inside engineering, okay.
They're doing the site development plan for us right now. Once they get ready, we'll go out to bid for the site development, and then the playground will be part of their plan to put in and stuff.
Okay.
They are well aware of the playground and know what size and where it has to go, the dimensions of this.
Any time span?
No,
This year, next year?
they're working on it.
Yeah,
We keep
hopefully
getting
sure.
questions once in a while about it, so we know they're plugging away at it.
Okay, thanks.
I mean, it's one piece of a much bigger project there.
Any other public comment? Board comment?
You good?
Yeah. if you
We're
wanna
not
make a
going
motion.
in, back in, we're done?
Yeah, we're done.
I make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
That's not my pen.